What is going on, guys? It is day 3000 of quarantine. I don't even know anymore, But sporting the shitty beard, and I have no haircut. I truly need one, like the rest of the world. But, I've had a lot of time on my hands in this quarantine. I've been sitting on my ass a lot. I've been watching a lot of movies and TV, and I'm truly over it. However, I've had a lot of time to think. And, there's a story that I've always wanted to be there's a story I've always wanted to tell and record it and just put it out there so a lot of people can hear about it. I've told a lot of people this story, and they were always touched by it, and it was something like, maybe I can just put this story out there and maybe a lot more people can hear about it. Because a lot of people do ask me the question, how did you meet one of the biggest stars in Hollywood? And that certain star is one of my all-time idols, one of my biggest role models is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And, a lot of people ask me, how did you meet him? And it's just a very long story. I just tell them the basics, and it just doesn't pinpoint the importance of that day. So, I've always wanted to tell this story because, I was going through a difficult time in my life, and, that day was just so special. It made me forget about all the things I was going through, all the things, I had to deal with. But I want to backtrack my life, a year from that day. um, it was October 25th, 2016. That day, I lost one of my best friends. That was my mother. I was really close to her, I would say, and we were just really tight. But anyways, that was a huge tragedy in my life and my family's. But yeah, it was just a very difficult time. And after that, I would say I did go through depression. I would I would go through it, and then I would fall out of it. And it was just a very difficult time. But it didn't truly hit me until like I finally was on my own. Because of that summer, June 2017, it was time for me to face the world on my own and move out to college for at Cal State Northridge in the Valley. And I was living in an apartment. I was alone here and there, and I think my depression hit a lot during that time. And I was just in a dark place. I started gaining a lot of weight. Because a few months prior to that, I also got shoulder surgery, so I couldn't work out. And working out has always been my my stress reliever. I might not be the fittest guy in the world, but I love going to the gym. I love staying fit, and just staying fit, staying active. So yeah, I was just gaining a lot of weight, and there was times I just did not feel like working out. So I was just out of shape. I was depressed. Luckily, it never resulted in me using drugs or drinking. I'm not really into that, but I just had to really kind of find a way to snap out of it. So there was times I would go on Instagram, and The Rock would always post videos of him, fucking with his fans or him working out. So that would make me laugh, and then that would make me want to go to the gym. I would wake up at 4 in the morning, go to the gym, and then go to school for the rest of the day. And my roommates thought I was nuts. They would always question like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" I'm like, "Because I want to," but to be honest with you, I wouldn't do it because of The Rock. But anyways, um, days leading up to that event, it was finals week, and it was just very difficult because I was working two jobs. I was paying bills. The whole life situations you have to go through. I was going through finals, and I was given an ultimatum from my professor. If you don't pass a certain test, which was kind of difficult, you're not gonna pass this class, and it won't fulfill the requirements of me graduating. So I had to bust my ass that week, and I just had to put in the time that I really didn't want to. And to be honest with you, I'm very lazy at school. I don't like to study. So, it was kind of a task for me to do and an obstacle I had to overcome. So during that time, I was studying, and I took a study break. And I saw an ad on Facebook that The Rock was gonna have his star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it was open to the public. I'm like, well, I gotta attend this. I gotta see my idol from 10 feet away, 5 feet away. So that's what I was gonna do. But in order to me to go there, I have to study and bust my ass in order to have this free day and enjoy it. So that's what I did. I studied a lot. I busted all nighters days prior to that day. I was running on like 2 hours of sleep. So the day before that event, I truly had to just study, study, study. And I remember I studied till like 4 a.m. And the event was gonna be at 10, but I wanted to be there early. So I got 2 hours of sleep that day. But here's where I want to say the magic happened. So that day that I woke up, it was 6 a.m. I woke up fully rested. I was really rested. I felt like I had 10 hours of sleep. I just had it. I was just in a really good mood. I can't explain it. I can't explain what I was feeling that day, but I was feeling really, really good. I felt like $1,000,000. I felt really good. I was ready to enjoy my day. So I was driving up to LA, and I remember that drive. I was just on the fucking steering wheel. I felt like this shit. I don't know why. I felt really, really good. Anyways, I got to Hollywood. I parked my car, and I saw a lot of security where his star was being made. And I asked the security, like, hey, what time does the event start? Stupid questions like that. And they're like, oh, it's at 10. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought I was the only one there because there was no people around. They're like, yeah, the line is around the building. I was like, ah, fuck. I thought I was the first one there, which I was totally wrong. People probably camped out for that event. Anyways, so I got in line. That didn't bother me at all. I was just there to enjoy my day. Anyways, I met up with my buddy. We were waiting in line, talking to people. Probably fanboying because The Rock was gonna be there. And hours passed, and camera crews started getting there, the media, stuff like that. And there was a big camera crew, like 4 or 5 people. They were walking down the line where the people were waiting for, and they started asking people questions. And when I saw that, I'm like, huh, that would be cool if they went up to me. And that's exactly what happened. They asked me. I don't really remember the questions that they asked me, but they asked me, from what I remember, they were like something, why do you like The Rock or something like that. And I remember telling them that he's my hero, and I just pretty much spoke from the heart. I told them, yeah, like he helped me get through a lot, through my depression, and he helped me get through a lot. He gave me motivation to work out and just continue with life. And it would be cool for me to tell The Rock thank you for getting me through this difficult time in my life. And the lady gave me this kind of look, like, okay. And that was like the last time I saw her. And so it was time for the event to start, and everyone just rushed in. So everyone just fucking rushed in to get near the podium where The Rock was going to give his speech. And, people pushed and shoved, and I was all the way in the back, and I was far away from the podium, which was kind of upsetting because I wanted to, hopefully when The Rock came out, I can scream my lungs out and get his attention. So it was time for the event to start, and celebrities started coming in. Jack Black came in, and he started taking pictures with everyone. So I kind of sneaked myself to where everyone was at, and I was able to get a pretty cool picture with him. I was able to interact with him, and it was pretty cool. And then it was. We were waiting there for quite a while. It was really hot, and then it was time for The Rock to come in. People kept saying like, "Oh, he's gonna come in through the side, and he's gonna come in through a black Mercedes or something like that." But he came in through like a Forever 21. He came in with his family, and it was pretty cool. You know, I was all fanboying, screaming my lungs out with my buddies. And you know, he came out. He started giving out his speech. You know, he's talking about his acting career, his failures, his time in the wrestling world, and someone else was gonna speak about him or something like that. So as he walks, he was gonna go sit next to his family. So I rushed kind of towards that way, and as I got a little bit closer, he was just standing there, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna say something. I was like, Rocky, you're my inspiration. And he was like, oh, thank you, man. And then he was just like, oh, hey, your name is Ivan. But I didn't hear that part. My buddy was right next to me, and he was just like, bro, he just said your name. I'm like, there's no way. He's like, yeah, he just said your name. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's right. Rocky, you're my inspiration. You
I didn't believe it, but at least he gave me that, you know, like, oh, hey, thank you, man. And then people were giving his speech, and I just kept screaming at him, like, come here, I want to take a picture with you. He was ignoring me, and all I hear is, where's Ivan? Where's Ivan? And my buddy's like, dude, they're calling your fucking name. I'm like, who's calling my name? There's two big guys over there. It was two big security guys. They're like, come with me. Then put your hands in your pocket and come with us. And when they said that, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna put me in front of everyone here in front of the podium. And I'm like, that would be pretty cool. I can be next to The Rock, talk with him, whatever. But they escorted me to like inside the Forever 21. The Forever 21 was completely shut down. There was no people in there, but a camera crew just waiting there. They were just waiting for me there. And then they're like, oh, hey, we spoke to you earlier. I'm like, yeah, I remember you. And then I'm like, okay, so when you were waiting in line, you know, we kind of sent this video out to The Rock. I'm like, I was just like, there was no way. So I guess when I was waiting in line, they texted about me to The Rock while he was driving up to Hollywood. And they kind of organized for me to, you know, wait there and be able to tell thank you to The Rock, which was pretty cool. So, you know, I started talking to the camera people, you know, we were actually just talking like normal people. And then they ended up telling me that they were from Seven Bucks Production. I could be wrong. And, you know, they started showing me that they were on tour with The Rock, you know, they were following him around during the Jumanji premieres, stuff like that. So now it was time for me to meet The Rock. So I see people coming in, it was all his family. People were just coming in, I was nervous as fuck. People started coming in, and then I kind of just stood there. I didn't know what to say, because the Rock's family were literally just standing right in front of me. And the Rock's mom was like, oh, hey, I like your shirt. I'm like, oh, thank you. I was really nervous. So now it was time for me to meet The Rock. You know, The Rock comes in into the Forever 21. Big motherfucker. You know, I'm a short guy, so he was pretty big for me. He starts walking in. You know, I don't know how to describe it, but just because I'm a fan, he just has this presence about him I just can't describe. He walks in, and the first thing that he said was like, I'm sorry, man, but I gotta give you a hug. You know, I give him a hug. He started laughing, and I pretty much just said, oh, thank you for what you do, and it helped me get through a difficult time. Somewhere around those lines. And he was just like, oh, thank you, buddy, thank you. You know, my crew texted me saying, telling me about you, and they kind of organized this for me to meet you, and that meant a lot for me. And you know, from what I remember, he kind of just like said thank you, and I kind of said like, you gave me motivation to continue life. You know, I almost became a wrestler because of you. Unfortunately, I got injured, and I would just want to say thank you, pretty much. And he was like, yeah, it's a difficult life you want to follow, but you know, you just got to push through it. And somewhere around those lines. And I met him, and I said, can I take a picture with you? And he was just like, oh, fuck no. And, you know, he kind of just laughed, made a joke about it, and we kind of laughed about it. So we took a picture, and then we took a selfie. And I think he had to go or something like that. I just thanked him. It meant a lot for me just to meet him that day and tell him what I genuinely felt. And the day was over. I was so excited and had a really good picture with him. But here's the thing, that day was special because it was December 13th, and that day was my mom's birthday. So every time I tell people that, they always say, "Oh, maybe that day was a gift from your mom." I'm like, who knows? It could be. I mean, who knows? So that day was just nothing but perfect. Everything went perfect, solid. And like I said, it was my mother's birthday. But here's one thing too. That day, when I went to sleep, I re-dreamt the whole event. But the one thing that was different was that my mom was right next to my side, and that is just that's just pretty cool because before she passed away, she would always go to these events with me all the time. So it was just like that. So that's pretty much like the story that I always wanted to put out there. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And it's just pretty special to me. It was pretty cool, and it could have been a gift from my mother. Who knows? And I will always hold that day in my heart because it probably will never happen again. Hopefully it will, but who knows? And this is my story, and I just wanted to put it out there. Hopefully, 5 people can enjoy this, 10 people can enjoy this, but just hopefully you guys enjoy this story. Thank you.